And I think the other big question is just how will the Russia-Ukrainian war conclude and what kind of settlement will be reached there? I think that's the biggest question in 2020.
What do you want to see? If you were king for a day, and you could set the entire EU agenda as it relates to the United States in this important relationship, what would make the most sense for you?
I think first off, you can't just say that there's like one choice because ultimately a choice has to be made. And I think the choice which has to be made is in terms of how do you want the EU to work? Do you view the EU as a federalist project where the goal is to create one state at some point, or do you view it as an internationalist institution where various nations cooperate with one another, but you maintain the individual nation states? And I think that's the biggest question because the EU right now it's kind of both, and it doesn't work because on the one hand, the EU it does a lot of things which typically a nation state does. So it issues a currency, which usually states issue currencies. You don't have the World Bank doesn't issue currency like the World Bank. It does some like interventions, or the IMF more accurately. It does some interventions in the case that you have some currency crisis in a developing country, but it doesn't issue currency. The United States issues currency, but in Europe the ECB issues currency, and yet it doesn't have a lot of the prerogatives and a lot of the competencies which come with that. And that is inherently dysfunctional. And you just need to make a choice there. And you need to make an A-B choice. I think the other question is also like immigration. I think this is also very, very contentious because the United States historically is an immigrant society. It was founded by immigrants. It has a long history of immigration. Europe doesn't. And so you need to make a choice like, do you view a European nation like Germany or France? Is it ethnic? Do you view it as an ethnic entity? And I think again, you just have to make an A-B question because what we have right now is you have immigration, but you don't have any admittance on the part of the politicians that you are witnessing like a permanent transition to a multi-ethnic society. And so instead, what a lot of mainstream politicians, especially the mainstream right, do is they try and kind of gaslight the populace. So you continue to have immigration, but people act as if it's temporary. And I think you just need to at some point just clearly say like, okay, this is our choice. I personally think it just makes much more sense to say like we are a multi-ethnic society at this point. I think that the demographics are just too bad to where you could kind of maintain a functioning economy without immigration. So I personally, if I had a political party, I would probably try and like explicitly try and reconcile the population with the fact that like we don't define our nation in an ethnic sense anymore. And also, I mean, immigration has at this point occurred for decades. And so you already have a multi-ethnic society in reality.